This is the voice of freedom. We are not one voice. We are many. We are your voice. But we can only be effective if you use your voice. Your voice. This is the voice of freedom. We will not hide from the truth. We will ask the hard questions until we are sure we have the truth. Welcome to the voice of freedom, where your voice will never be silenced.
That'll be us. Welcome to Frankston, everybody. And we're fairly confident tonight that the internet is hearing us on the first take. Everybody in the online in the chat, can you just give the boys an indication? Bradford's looking at the screen, and Rob tonight is driving our camera. Well, one of our cameras. We've got 3 tonight, so we're being a bit exceptional and a bit spiffy. Just want to thank everybody here tonight at my place in Frankston. If you're watching for the Friday night free-for-all, it's going to be a little bit different tonight. We are at my place, Frankston. If you missed the show on Wednesday night, you don't know what you missed. We've got a lot lined up for you tonight, and a lot of it is about my place, how you can get a my place in your town, because that's what we're about. We want to try and get as many of these sorts of, I'm going to call it an installation, because this in your town is going to be the best thing for your folks in your town. It is by far and away the best community building idea I have come across yet. And I've been traveling around the country a little while, so I'm seeing and hearing a few ideas. I got to say, Darren Bergwerf, the Mayor of the People's Council of Frankston, which is another initiative that Darren set up, is the moving force behind my place in Frankston. Ladies and gentlemen, will you put your hands together for your people's mayor, Mr. Darren Bergwerf. Darren, you must be very proud seeing the amount of people that turn up on a Friday night, on a Wednesday night. It's nothing new for you. This happens every sort of week for you. But what's the sort of feelings that you get when you see this sort of roll up?
It's just a sense of pride and all the hard work that everyone in this place puts in, week out. It's all coming to fruition, and the amount of people that have come from far and wide that want to come up and just tell me that they're just blown away by this is it. This is exactly what we need to be doing. Everything you say resonates. Everything you say makes sense, and it's all coming together. And it's rewarding. It's really rewarding, and it has been from day one, from that very first night or the third night when he called at my place, when that guy came up to me and said that his wife now is not going to get vaccinated because of the speech I just did when she was preluding to get vaccinated because of Christmas coming up and not being able to spend it for family. So from that day forward, there's been many instances of that, and the people that work in this community coming up to me and saying, you just don't know what this place does and what it means for me.
I've had exactly the same reaction from people who've come up and met me outside. I've asked them about why they come here, what it is about coming here, and to a T, without fault, every one of them says it's the community feeling. It's the fact that I know I can walk up to a stranger here and start having a conversation and we are going to be friends. And I guess in Victoria, that's something you guys haven't been able to do for a long time, is it? To go out and meet someone new, get a new perspective on the conversation. So I'm just glad that there is now a place, and if we can get a wide shot, guys, just put up. I heard you call earlier. A lot of people have been here before, but tonight, people who have been here for the first time tonight, can you put your hand up for me, please? So every night there are more new people coming to my place. Every time there is something here happening, new people come here. Now, how far have you guys travelled? Dandenong, Chelsea, Rye. Beautiful. You've come from the other way. So Macedon Ranges. For people who don't know Victoria very well, Macedon Ranges has got to be 3 hours from here. Hour and 20, hour and a half. That's a long time since I've been to the Macedon Ranges then. People might remember Macedon Ranges. That's where Picnic at Hanging Rock was filmed. hanging rockers up in the Macedon Ranges. So thank you very much, folks, for coming. So we've had folks here. Darren, you have a lady who travelled 4 hours.
Yeah, 2 Wednesdays ago, she came up from Campbellfield down near Warrnambool, which would have been a 4-hour drive across town to Frankston.
Oh, Camperdown. Camperdown. Used to play cricket in Camperdown many years ago. That's a hell of a drive from Camperdown down in the Western District to come here on a market day or on a Wednesday.
No, it was a Wednesday night.
Wow. Just to find out how things work.
Just to come and hear me speak and to see my place in live and be here in our
Wonderful. Meeting. Maybe we can get a show in Camperdown, folks. I'll be able to go back and reminisce on my fast bowling days when I was 16. That'll be great. Don't think anybody in Camperdown will remember that very much. But I come from down that way, down near Mortlake. Well, not near. I came from Mortlake, 96 Spring Street in Mortlake, if we want to get really direct. So I know the Western District very well, and I know it's a long haul to come for a drive to Melbourne, let alone get to Melbourne and then come all the way down here. That's a big effort. And it is simply just how people feel about this place. They will travel for hours to come here and mix with you. They're not coming here to mix with us. They're coming here to mix with you. You're the people that make this place my place. So give yourselves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, because you are the key. You are the key. Darren, there's a lot going on. You've had a lot of phone calls from people in the last week or so. Can you give us a bit of an update on where we are with my places around Victoria or around the country for that matter?
Yeah, I had a conversation with a guy from the Sunshine Coast yesterday. Really keen to turn his common law group into a My Place facility. And we have a new My Place Bayside that started today. So just joined that one. And we've got Geelong, of course, and Mildura is heading towards 200. And so is Doncaster. And Doncaster hasn't been going for 6 days, I think. And they're already up to nearly 200. So I think I'm up to about 8 at the moment. And I'm talking to about 5 or 6 other people in Bendigo. Geelong's up and running, which I said, and also Shepparton and Kerrang.
So that's a huge effort. Absolutely a huge effort. Victorians are really putting in, and I think it's evidence that this is required in Victoria, in every town in Victoria. Given the inquiry that you've got, the range of inquiry you've got, it seems to be, out in the bush areas.
Yeah, well, it's not just required in Victoria; it's required across the country because we're all been in our separate groups, whether it be football clubs, cricket clubs, stand in the park groups, common law groups. We've isolated ourselves and pigeonholed ourselves into specific groups for so long, and we look at each other funny and wonder how they kind of think. And what My Place is, it's an amalgamation of every walk of life and every group in the country under the one roof. And it just works. We would never have come across each other's paths in a million years, yet here we are 12 months in, and it's the most cohesive group of people that I've ever been involved with. And I've been in a lot of different football, cricket, golf clubs, working environments, and this is like nothing else. It's amazing.
I've got to say it's affected me in ways I never thought I could be affected. Having conversations with you folks, I've met quite a lot of you. If you're here for the first time tonight and you haven't met me yet, hang around. I'll be around later if you really want to shake a hand or have a chat. But the resounding response that I get from the people who I've met here, both here, right here at My Place and around Frankston, as I've been walking around doing different bits and pieces, is astounding. The reaction is amazing, and it is the most community-minded or community-building project I have found in Australia. And we need to, like Darren said, we need to get this out. It's great to hear that the Sunshine Coast is getting involved. But what about the rest of the world? What about places in New South Wales? I know Singleton are starting to stand up. They're just starting to get themselves organised. That's awesome. I know that there are meetings planned in Cessnock, Maitland, and a few other places around the Hunter. What about Queensland? Sunshine Coast is great. Wouldn't it be nice to have a My Place on the Gold Coast to visit? When you go up there on holidays, get away from the freezing bloody cold of Victoria? Right. So there has to be people on the Gold Coast who are able to maybe put something like this together. And if that is you, Darren Bergwerf is the man to talk to. You can go and get details at myplacefrankston.com. That's the easiest place to go and look up how it works. And Darren, you're not shy with your phone number, so people can get a hold of you and have a chat. The biggest problem with Darren is he's never off the phone. And he thought, his wife thought that was just him until I came and stayed at his house. The both of us, we pass each other, we pace. You know, he's on his phone, I'm on my phone, and we're deep in conversation. That's how it works. It is wonderful to be here amongst you folks. Just can't thank you enough for the hospitality that you've shown it, my daughter, Laura, and I shouldn't forget Chili, our little dog. It is because of you I have my daughter back. The love that you people share with her has changed her, has helped her get through the crises and the trauma that she's been through. And I can't thank you all enough for that. It's the most amazing gift. So that's why I'm here for you folks, whatever you need, whatever I can do, because you have helped me more than anything in my life to get my daughter back. So I will do for you everything I can do. Everything. And now, before I burst into tears completely, let's have a musical interlude. So part of what we're doing here with our show is trying to get my place to your place. So a little bit of an idea of what we have is a sort of a talent quest. If you've got local artists in your area, they've written original songs, we would love them to come on our show and let the world hear them. So bear that in mind, folks. If we're coming to town and you've got some artists who want to play, then we are happy to come and have a chat and see whether or not we can expose you. If I can help you sell your song, I will gladly do that, especially if I can help you without having to hook up with a record company. The best way for an artist to make money is to sell it themselves, keep their own publishing rights, and move on in the world, move up in the world, because it is their creativity they live on. So tonight, we're going to see a couple of artists in the show tonight. I would just like you all to put your hands together for Melinda, who's going to play a couple of songs for us tonight. The first one is an instrumental that I heard a little earlier today. It's called Victory. You must understand, folks, that the people here in Victoria have had it bloody hard. So a song like Victory, I think, is a very meaningful song, even if it is an instrumental. We haven't put words to it yet. Maybe you're a lyricist. I don't know. Melinda, are you up for lyrical help if required? We'll sort it out if you do. Inspiration. Oh, Billy's over there too. Sorry, he's hiding behind my Voice of Freedom sign. Beg your pardon, Billy. So, folks, put your hands together for Melinda and Billy playing Victory. ladies and gentlemen. Because we can't get enough, we're going to have another one. This one is called Tell Me the Truth.
This is quite a different style from the first one, but it was actually encouraged by a visit to the old ancient forests in Warburton. And I was sitting there thinking about the truth and the truth of connection with others. And as the song evolved, it was also spoke to me about the connection with ourselves, the connection with the spiritual, the connection with with the mystical, and that finding our own truth can then lead us to the new. Tell me the truth, tell me you're there, long in the night, close to despair, breaking my heart, tearing apart, no, there is more, oh, so unsure. Do you not hear the whispering of springtime flowing through? Do you not feel the shaking, the making of something new? Of something new. Give me the light, tell me what's right, tell me I need to know. Mysteries untold, I'm growing old, tell me I need to know. Do you not hear the whispering
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Yeah, great. Really awesome. Melinda, and I'm sorry, I've forgotten the guitarist's name. Billy. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate it. We'll have another couple of musical acts before the end of the night, folks. And that's, like I say, part of what we're doing. For folks who might be sitting here in our audience and seeing a big black Labrador walking around amongst you, that is Neo the Wonder Dog, owned by the Galactic Larrikins. He is all love. You need not worry about him in any way, shape or form. And in fact, if you rub him in the right place, you'll get his leg going. Don't we all like that? So yeah, Neo's running around there, and we look forward to many pats, I think is the best way he's saying that. I just want to touch on the People's Council. Darren, the People's Council here is roaring forward. I saw Ian earlier. There he is. Ian's down here back again. Thanks for coming in, Ian. I didn't think you were going to be back tonight. Oh, you've got Kiara here too. Beautiful. I didn't think you were coming back tonight. Great to see you. I did pop down. I didn't see you yesterday, but... oh, you were over near the toilets? I didn't go near the toilets. Where Ollie's is? Yep. Oh, I was down the other end. Right. Okay. No worries. No wonder I didn't see you. Yeah, I was trying. So, folks, if you don't know who Ian is, we had him on Wednesday night. Now, Ian is one of the fellas who is sleeping a bit rough down at the Frankston boat ramp at the moment. And because of Mayor Darren Bergworth's machine-like instinct, they no longer need to go and hang out down there and not have access to a shower or a toilet or a cup of coffee or something like that. Darren, explain the story just once again quickly for folks who may not have seen the show on Wednesday night.
That's all right, Carl. I think you're a bit too kind. It's not just because of me, but and the boys haven't been up for a shower yet, so that's why you've got a spare seat either side, mate. So look, the offer was there. The council were trying to threatening to move them on Monday at the start of this week and get the tow trucks in because they've been there for quite a few months, sleeping rough and in their cars. And Ian put a post out last Friday night for those people that aren't aware, and it got an outpouring of support from the whole community, not just my place people. I saw it Friday night when I was leaving here, and I put a post up straight away to say that we're here to support them, and I called in Saturday morning to see them. Okay, nearly 1,200 people have wow. shared and got behind these guys, so that's fantastic, and that's what the community here is. And it's not just my place; it's I think it's just a general change in people's attitudes that are starting to come together on all different issues instead of only when it affects them, and that's what we're trying to promote. So we're trying to get hold of all of those people and bring them in to my place and join together. And every single issue that comes up in our community, whether it affects us or it doesn't affect us, if it's not right, it's not right. And we're all going to get behind and push back as one. And I don't know how much longer the boys want to stay down there, but yeah, the offer's always here, Ian. Any of you guys can come up here and park in the back and sleep tonight and have a shower and use the toilet facilities and stuff here if you need to. So, yep.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful offer, but it's what My Place is all about, folks. And you need a My Place at your place. If you're on the Gold Coast or the Sunshine Coast, you know how many people are sleeping rough every night along the beach or up in the hinterland. You know. You drive past them every day. There is a way we can help. Somebody out there has a bit of land and maybe a shed that we can use. It doesn't have to be a factory located in a CBD. It can be a shed on a bit of land somewhere. And if you've got 10 or 15 acres, you wouldn't mind the people farming for you, then I'm sure they'd be very happy to throw in some fruit and veg and make sure that everybody in the community gets fed. That's the way that this is looking like it's going to move forward, folks. Does it sound like a way forward? Yeah, because we've got to band together, don't we? Yeah, that's the biggest issue that we have, I think, at the moment. There has been too much dissension, too many bad, bit of bad juju. Let's put it that way. Speaking of bad juju, I have a gentleman here tonight that we'll get to talk in a little while. He will be very familiar to you, if not him, then his truck. But I want to read something to you before we get to talk about that. Who here is familiar with the name Mike Holt? Okay, we're familiar with Mike. For those of you who aren't, Mike runs a common law society called Common Law Earth, or commonlaw.earth. Mike was arrested yesterday, or day before yesterday maybe, no, yesterday, in the Sunshine Coast where he lives, because he broke a subpoena over a case that was being heard here in Victoria, made a Facebook post and posted that. I think it was Facebook at any rate. That may have been spread through his assembly groups. When he realised that it was a suppressed case, he wasn't in the courtroom. He didn't know there was a suppression order. He took the post down, but it had already been spread. So the Victorian government, or the Victorian judiciary at least, have chased him. Now, they sent him, and you can watch an interview that we did with Mike a week and a bit ago with Fitz. You can see how Mike explained his process when all that happened, and the process that he used to basically, as he termed it, win in the court. Now, when I tested him on that, I said, well, Mike, would you like to jump on a plane and come down and do a couple of shows in Victoria with me? And he said, oh, no. And that's because he would get arrested if he came here. Somebody, obviously in the government or the judiciary, saw that, and they didn't bother for him to come. They went up there and got him. Now, today received an interesting media release that has come from a group many of you may not have heard of. It's called the Information Office of the International Common Law Court of Justice. Has anybody ever heard of that? We might get into that on another night. But let me just read to you what they have said, because I understand there is an outpouring of love for Mike. A lot of his assembly people are very keen to see him use his common law skills in the court. And that's great, and I wish Mike every success in what he does. However, I think there's something else being heaped on his plate, and I want to share this with you tonight, particularly if you are a Mike Holt fan. It says, a public warning from the International Common Law Court of Justice. Avoid Mike Holt and the Commonwealth Law.Earth Corporation. Dated October 20th, 2022. For several years, our court and its chief advisor, Kevin Arnett, have worked with an Australian named Mike Holt. We did so in response to his request to help him bring our work to his country and create local common law courts and assemblies according to our model. By his own admission, Holt's subsequent work and successes were based on and due largely to our example and publications, especially Kevin Arnett's book, Establishing the Reign of Natural Liberty. We've recently learned that Mr. Holt is plagiarising this manual and our other publications without crediting their source and authorship. He is also actively defrauding the community by stealing other people's work and claiming it as his creation and charging exorbitant sums of money to people for his services. Mr. Holt has engaged in the same deceit and criminality with a fellow Australian named Dick Yardley. According to Dick, Mr. Holt reissued his work on common law in a new title and had copies printed in China. These pirated versions were then sold by Mr. Holt for as much as $50 each, even though Dick had offered his research free of charge. We urge all people, especially common law activists, to avoid Mr. Holt and his privately registered company known as commonlaw.earth. Mr. Holt is not only an unprincipled opportunist and a violator of people's trust, but we believe a paid disruptor with possible links to China. He is a threat to our movement and to our future as a free people. For more information, you can contact them at their associated websites. I just wanted you to know that tonight, folks. It's a bit different to our common law Magna Carta chats, and we will probably talk more about this on Monday night with Fitz. But it's important that we are all aware of what's going on. If you are in a common law group, you better bloody know what you're doing, okay? That is my suggestion. And there are many, many folks in the assemblies around Australia tonight who I know watch this show. They'll be reeling after hearing that. They may not have received that message yet. I feel for Mike. I feel terribly for Mike. But you reap what you sow at the end of the day. And if it's proved that he has done these sorts of things, and they're alleging, obviously, what they claim is their work in this document, then I'm sure Mike will be able to fight that at the appropriate time. If you are looking for a little bit of news on Mike, I can tell you that he arrived in Melbourne today. He will no doubt be spending time in the Melbourne Remand Centre over the weekend until they decide to hear him. I don't think they will hear him Monday, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and we might see something from that then. If you are one of those folks who'd like to go along to court to support him, I'm sure you can. And I know that there might be a lot of common law.earth people in Victoria and other places who will travel down to do this. I would urge you to be very careful. I would urge you to be very, very careful. You will find yourself standing outside the court all day if there's a great pile of you, and you're shouting everything that you want to tell, because they will not allow you in the court. They will turn it into a VCAT court, much like that they did with the Aussie Cossack, and they will administer him without you watching. That'll be how it happens. So I would just advise anybody who thought they were going to go down to the court and create a bit of a ruckus, there is a better way you can do that, and maybe you can contact us and we can help you with that. But I wouldn't be going down and creating a parade at the front of the court. You won't be helping Mike in any way. So I just wanted to cover that tonight. There is a few things on Mike's plate that he has to deal with, and I've never met Mike personally. We've only done an interview online. I've met a lot of people from his assemblies, absolutely magnificent people, wonderful people, really, really well trained to a point. And I think that point is about to be shown. So I wish him every success with the challenges that he has coming up in the next week or so. And I urge everybody who would like to support a common law colleague, get behind him, but get behind him in the right way. Don't make it harder for him. Get behind him in the right way. That's all I'll say on that for tonight. Folks, I'm going to ask Darren to give up his microphone because there is a young man here sitting in the audience tonight that I really do want to introduce you to. Paul, would you like to make your way up? Ladies and gentlemen, give this young man, well, I don't know, young might be an exaggeration, but give him a round of applause. Paul is the owner of the Freedom Truck. Now, if you were in Canberra, particularly for the big meet, you would have seen the Freedom Truck. It was just it is just a magnificent piece of machinery. It stands out like no other. In fact, it is in demand for movies at the moment, particularly in Queensland, where Paul comes from. Now, I can tell you that the truck was sort of half built. Paul finished the build. He finished the build, got in it, and drove it to Canberra. That's about right, isn't it, Paul? You sort of finished and drove to Canberra.
It's been a bit of a long process, as anything is when you start with someone else's unfinished project.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was a week or two prior to that I just had a pile of work done on it to get up to the standard it was.
Now, you built the truck not just so you could drive around in it and look good. Why did you decide to finish the project?
The main plan was to finish the project was so that I could do something around my health because I've got chronic neck and back pain and a few other things from a few unfortunate events. So, yeah, the plan was to be able to do like chauffeuring for formals, as well as had the possibility of
Bit of movie work.
Yeah, a bit of movie work, and I also did took it to
Truck shows and
Supernova.
Supernova.
Yeah, I was trying to think. All I could think was Comic Con, but it was
Supernova.
I
was thinking Comic Con as well.
So I did that.
It really is a Mad Max truck, isn't it?
And yeah, also Gold Coast car show down at Mudgee Bar, and I found with the Gold Coast car show that, much to my surprise, because it's a family day, had to change my thinking that day, because originally I thought other car shows I'd been to, people they kind of had their hands behind their back, they respecting people's lovely vehicles and that, and I found that all the kids loved it, so I had to open the doors and
Let them climb through it.
there was a queue, like it was ridiculously long, this queue, and luckily for me, because I have my fatigue and also Ranger in that, and I get sort of stuck under pressure. I had a few people that I'd hired, some promo girls that then they had to change from being promo girls to babysitters, and then a couple extended family members. So we had this big queue, and you know, taking turns of kids sitting in the driver's seat.
Awesome.
And getting a photo, and
So this is
everybody in Mudgee Bar I'd remember, because every kid wanted to pull the air horn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it was going off definitely more than on the convoy.
Oh God, that's great.
So yeah, it was fun, and that when I first got it, I thought, oh, it would be a bit of fun to, you know, have for a very short time, and then sort of you know, possibly move on or whatever.
Yeah. I don't suppose you expected to have it the short time you have had it.
The thing that made me want to keep it was because it's kind of a bit hard to explain, but because it's pretty way out there, the smile it puts on people's face when they see it and they see that who's driving it, it gets a different reaction. It's like you see their brain click, like in it is possible. It is possible for dreams to come true.
Yeah.
Versus you see someone in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, you're just like, you know,
yeah.
Your immediate reaction is, you know, that's stuck up. I'll never be able to afford that. Whether that's true or not, that's your immediate sort of mentality. Versus this, and then they see someone that often dresses in pretty daggy clothes because I'm actually doing stuff like it just clicks in their head, and they like, you just see the smile on their face, and that's what. So I want to keep it.
It's a great community machine. The people gather to it. The kids love it. The families love it. It brings people together. There's nothing wrong with that. It brought a lot of people together in Canberra when you got down there. You had. You were following a huge crowd. There was a huge crowd following you. Part of that huge crowd was the Aussie Cossack.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the Aussie Cossack has been instrumental in helping many, many people here through the movement. I'm sure that there was no intention from him for what happened to you, but we've all seen the vision. You've seen the vision of Paul being, you know, having the windows smashed and associated other bits with the truck there with the cops. Paul, after they took you that day, what have they charged you with?
I'm just trying to remember now.
There are 6. I think there are 6.
They started off with a lot less charges, but then
I think furious driving is one they've added.
I think it was reckless and furious driving. That is very.
Did you see how fast that truck was going, folks? Reckless and furious.
It's interesting because the pedestrians are actually walking faster. So maybe later on you will all get a notice in the mail saying that you were reckless and furious walking. But yeah, that originally was less, and then it got upgraded for, I believe, most likely the reason so that they could then hold on to the truck for 3 months, possibly. It starts to get a bit difficult when you're certainly not used to being in this situation or being in trouble. When you got no experience, you kind of definitely thrown in the deep end.
Yeah. And this, get me right, this was your first ever protest.
I had gone to Brisbane quite a few months earlier.
Without the truck.
Without the truck, just on foot. And I pretty much, because my brother went as well, and he's into camera gear and stuff, so he took a few photos and that and lost him. So I just kind of walked on the outskirts a bit more so than one sense in the actual protest, if that makes sense.
But you were right in the protest in Queensland
and so Canberra. So really it was my first actual
active.
active protest
Yeah,
rather than
it's
just
a good
going
word,
along and
active.
saying, you know, what's sort of going on.
Yeah.
I've always my whole life been a strong believer in what I sort of feel is right and wrong, and you know, sticking up for others, and I guess that's what I was going for, because I wanted to, you know, stick up for others,
Absolutely.
support, like Australia is. I was brought up to know it. That is people coming together and helping others and trying to get this country on the right track. So yeah,
Absolutely. So they've dragged you out of the truck. They've charged you with all these things. The truck is still impounded?
the truck's still impounded. Just going back one step with the charges is they ended up then adding more charges on many months later, when basically the lawyer said, oh, well, you can't hold the truck longer than this. They said, pretty much, we'll see about that. And all of a sudden, I know I've got one that's driving at police that's 15-year maximum prison. So now I'm looking at a total of 20 years and 6 charges that...
Hang on, 6 charges for a potential 20 years in jail. We did see the truck, didn't we, folks? We did see just how dangerous it was, didn't we? This guy's being railroaded fairly solidly. It can't be cheap to protect yourself in this regard or to try and represent.
No, so it's all been like a very interesting process, considering the fact that
it's just
that people at Epic were more kind-hearted and helpful than the people in the system. So
we're not surprised about that, are we?
it certainly seems like the system isn't there for the people anymore, unfortunately. So it's the cost so far, and this is actually many months ago, was up to around the 26,000 in legal fees, and that was at that point when basically I've stopped having a lawyer represent me, and being now self-representative with either a family member or a friend trying to sit alongside me and help me, but that's always difficult because technically they can't speak or do anything while you're on the video links to court. So we've managed to, with some generosity, because most of the money I had, I'd actually put into trying to get this truck business off the ground so I could hopefully not be dependent on Centrelink anymore. And because I don't think any of us here want to be dependent on the government, and I've for sure don't. Yeah, basically, I'm just trying to think where I was at.
Well, I want to get to the bit. I want to get to the bit with where we are right now.
Basically, it's the generosity. So we had a Fundly page set up by my sister-in-law, and we've ended up with about 6,000 donated from that, and then
the Aussie Cossack tossed in at the beginning of it all.
5,000 as well.
That's great.
So we're looking at about 11 out of 26 so far, and then I'm looking into legal aid at the moment. Doing I've effectively been
you haven't been allowed to get...
I've been effectively kind of required, but it's confusing how they word things because they can't sort of say one thing. So that the legal system has said that I have to follow up legal aid. So I've got to do those forms in the next few days.
So they won't allow you to represent yourself or to have a Mackenzie's friend, if you like, represent you?
We're looking at that situation, the Mackenzie friend side of things. I think there's actually a couple different variations of that. But it seems the wheels seem to turn really slow with the system, and if you aren't a part of the system, it seems to make it harder. Like if you're not just going to go jump on board and do
Yes,
everything
go into contract with
99%
them.
of everybody else does,
Yep.
it then seems to be more difficult. So we'll probably try and at some stage, if we can afford it, get some legal representation that
Yeah.
on
Well, that's
top of
kind of what I want to
legal
help you
aid or
with.
something like that.
It's kind of what I want to help you with. At the moment, they have a $16,000 legal bill, and their lawyer will not represent them again until that's paid. Is that right?
Yes. They suggested that it would probably be too expensive to continue with them if I was struggling with the small amount that it already cost me.
And you saw 15,000 disappear basically
Well,
overnight.
25,000 it just goes so quickly. It's not. I guess it's been going on for many months now. Sorry, I keep forgetting to pay attention to that side of the room. I guess the problem is, like, time just flies, especially when you're caught up in the dramas and the stress and the anxiety and everything of the whole way of the world. And I think it's hard for anyone to believe here that COVID's almost been going on for 3 years, and it's like it's affected everybody. It's I was up here like 3-4 weeks ago because I came down from Queensland down this direction to talk to some people that from the Freedom Rally, as well as getting support with people giving suggestions and all that sort of stuff. Because obviously, as you guys all probably know, the best support is out of the system and with these people like here today. So I came down. I then had video link thing, court hearings, pre-hearings, and then my brother then says, as soon as I'm off the thing with the courthouse, because he had his phone on hands-free but muted, he says, oh, by the way, mum is not doing too well because she actually ended up going to hospital for some things that she should have not had too much of an issue. She should have had many years to go because she was on a bit of a road to recovery. But then she ended up catching a fungal blood infection from pigeon poo.
Oh, no. Just
you know where that's probably going to go and where that probably came from. Without me saying it.
Yeah,
so
I'll tell you, folks. He lost his mum about 12 days ago.
Then I'm on a video link to the court, and then go in there for a few days to sit with my mum, and then she dies and passes away, and then we have the funeral on the 12th, and I'm going to come back here for
more court
legal stuff, and it's just like it's wrong. Like in the end. Why am I in the situation I'm in when I feel personally I've done less wrong than the people trying to claim I've done wrong with behavior and actions. And then the previous year, my grandmother passed away, and of course you'll probably know that you couldn't go into nursing homes without being up to date with shots and all this stuff. So that was another thing. You couldn't see her, and she was a bit of a different grandmother because she actually lived on the property. So it's a bit like a second mother. And, as rubbish as I was trying to think of a non-swear word.
Rubbish is a good word.
As rubbish as my story might sound, the amount of stories I've heard, even being in Melbourne, is absolutely insane. And it's disgusting and wrong. And I think you could probably put up a lot of people's hands in this room to say that they have either had someone pass since COVID, not being able to see them, or they haven't been able to see family or something like that. It's not just one of us. It's all of us.
It's all of us. Yep, you're right. I should point out, Paul has a brain injury. He has a problem with his neck and his back as well. So if you see him struggling for words, that's why. It doesn't affect you driving. It certainly doesn't affect you riding. You turned up on a motorbike.
No, it's both basically more so if I'm under pressure or stress or thinking. And I definitely wasn't ever somebody that you would have seen up here a few years ago.
That's why we made this stage, mate. We like getting newbies up.
I'm getting slightly better at all this, and it does help. I think the company you're in, especially when you've got someone that's understanding and has your best interests at heart. So yeah,
we're here to help, mate. We want to help. I've had a message from the Aussie Cossack. He'll be in contact next week. I think he's working on something with his lawyer. So we'll see what he comes on. I think anything the Cossack can do is a great help, yes? I mean, you've got to understand, folks, the Cossack's been in jail himself for 4 months. I can't imagine he's terribly flush with cash right now. But he is a genuine man. And I don't think he's going to leave you hanging. I don't think he would leave the people hanging. So I want to thank him for standing up where he has. He's already put his hand in his pocket for $5,000. Now he's going to make some introductions to the lawyers and see what can happen there. The fact of the matter is, you do need some help and support. Is there anywhere that people can go to help donate to you?
We do have a Fundly page happening.
Fundly.
Fundlies. I'm a bit of a dyslexic, so I'm bad at this.
That's right. You can hand it to me. I'll read it.
The reason for Fundly is because apparently most of the common ones were getting their assets seized, taken down, all that. So we tried to pick one that people...
Sure. So fundly.com/help-freedom-truck. Okay, go to the Fundly page, Fundly, FUNDLY.com/help-freedom-truck. If you can possibly help Paul and his brother, I mean, you're in this together.
Well, having you said that, like my brother obviously has a full-time job, and my sister-in-law, his partner, has a nursing career, and we all know what happened to a lot of the nurses.
Yeah.
So she's managed to stay a nurse, but got forced. I guess.
Yep.
Well, she got threatened.
Coerced.
I should say coerced. She got told that she would lose all her 10 years of long service leave if she didn't get the jab and so on. So she's been struggling. Nurses particularly struggle with mental health to begin with because of the situation they're in. In fact, they're around death. Who wouldn't have anxiety from that?
Yeah.
So he also puts a lot of time into her as well as both of their work and so on. So, and now he's putting just so much time into me that he shouldn't have to. And a lot of people have put a lot of time into me. Last time I was here 3 or 4 weeks ago, I met quite a few people at the Go Show and through Michael at Cafe Lockdown and a few other places. Catherine Cummings, it's an MP. I met her at the Go Show, and she's now had me staying at her place next door that she owns for a few weeks this time and a few weeks last time. And it's just when I first came down here, I spent
a fortune in hotels.
I got the cheapest backpackers at the Space Hotel, and it just adds up.
Yeah.
And then, so there's been her that's been putting me up for accommodation, and there's been another girl, Fiona. She's been helping me with a lot of stuff.
Yep.
I believe she actually got me onto you, or helped
Yeah, I
get me
think
onto
she
you,
got a hold of
something like
Michael, and Michael got a hold of me.
that.
So
It's amazing how many people are helping, and amazing how much time they're putting in. But it shouldn't be necessary. We should be doing useful things to make this country better, not defending ourselves from trying to make the country better, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Round of applause for that. 100%. All right, mate. Well, look, we'll do what we can to help you. Anything I can do, you have my number. Michael has my number. You can get a hold of me. If I can help, we will help. And if we can help raise a few dollars through the Fundly site, fundly.com/help-freedom-truck. That's the website.
Yes, that would be really helpful. Even though I hate to
No,
accept
I understand,
donations.
mate.
I'm
Asking
always
is
usually
really
the one
hard.
trying to
I hear
give
you.
other people stuff and help.
Yeah. But we all saw what happened that day. You just basically followed the crowd, followed along. The coppers got very excited about you, and at the end of the day, smashed your truck up, took you. There was somebody else in the truck. We might talk about that another time. There was somebody else in the truck with you. I'm very interested if that lady that was in the truck with Paul would like to contact us at VoF HQ. We would love to hear from you. I think you might have some interesting stories to tell. You have vision from inside the truck. You're in dash camera, and of course, you've now been able to access all of the police vision from their body cams and associated other pieces. There is quite a defence you are able to mount. You just have to be able to afford it.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I feel like has been happening is, one, it's hard when you don't know the system and you've also got disabilities. The other thing, it's
just hard, man.
It's ridiculous. Like, one side says, "Oh, we didn't get that memo effectively."
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure how much detail I can go into everything from a legal point of view, so I'll just try and keep it simple. And then all of a sudden, it's like you pretty much effectively, I don't know if there's a right lingo, but they could get an adjournment, or you, but mostly them, because they didn't get that
lawyers
paperwork. So then you have to then wait another week, and then another week, and it goes on. And you're thinking, like, is this how the system runs?
Yeah.
Like,
no, your lawyer won't go into court and represent you unless you paid him. And the judge won't hear him.
Is the system just there to keep the system running and employed? I don't know.
At times, it does seem that way, doesn't it, folks?
Because I couldn't run a successful business, I feel, in the
current climate.
In the way that, like,
I
was taught just go and do something. If it has to be done, do it.
Do it.
Get it done as quickly as possible.
You're
and
a Darren Bergworth.
Then get the next person help and do that. You know what I mean?
Mate. All right. Well, look, thank you for taking the time tonight. I know you jumped on the bike at late notice and rode down here. It took you an hour and a half or whatever it was from wherever you're staying to get down here. So I really appreciate you coming down tonight. Keep in touch. We will keep helping you with this at every step we can. I know that there is some help being afforded to you in the background with legal advice and all that sort of thing. We won't get into that, but that's all fairly, well, not fairly, it is completely unpaid, and it is only advice on how to proceed forward, nothing to do with what's happening in the court. So when is the next appearance that you have to make?
I actually had one yesterday. I had two yesterday, and that's why I'm a bit exhausted still as well. I had two yesterday. Then I've got one on the I think a little later next month. 17th and the 21st, I think.
17th is a good date. Just saying. 17th is a good day. The folks know about it. 17's a good day. Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. 17's a great number. Paul, thank you. Thanks for
Okay,
coming up, man.
Thank you for having me.
No, anytime. You just pick up the phone. You can have a chair at Voice of Freedom any night you want. We're here to help, and if we can help you raise a few bucks to help your defence, absolutely. I can furnish you with common law advice up the wazoo, but it's up to you whether or not you want to play that game. We can have a talk about that at a later date.
And there's another thing I'd just like to add while I'm here is I didn't actually know you knew Rob from the
Galactic Larrikins? I don't. He's a bastard and he does awful things to my YouTube channel.
But he actually, I met him effectively on the side of the road
After Canberra?
after I was kicked out of jail. And
That's where he lives, on the side of the road in Canberra.
And he actually was very sincere and had a nice chat. And there was a lot of people also at Epic that actually helped me from basically this side of the road, because I only had I had like something like an hour and a half to get
out of the
police station, the AMC Correctionals car park across the border before as a breach of bail. And they pretty much kicked me out with like nothing, no wallet, no phone. All that stuff all my possessions were in the truck. How
long did it take you to get anything back out of the truck?
I think it was roughly around close to a week or 10 days. So we're on the side of the road at a rest area near Braidwood, this lovely river that we
camped beside.
It was actually kind of a nice place. It would have been better under better circumstances, but we're there for a while and met quite a few people from Epic, and then ended up getting a ride back with them up.
Great.
Because all the floodings were happening. Then we had to go the long way around up Rocky, and then eventually.
Jeez, that's the long way, all right.
It kind of caught a ride with some people to this town, then across to Rocky, then across, and so on. So
just so you know, folks, the trip from the Queensland border to Rockhampton is about 850 k's, and he lived on the other side, well, on the Gold Coast, right on the border. So he's gone 850 k's north to come back.
So there's some lovely people at Epic. I kind of was lucky enough because apparently after the run there was a little bit of drama. I was kind of lucky enough that I actually didn't see the drama because I was volunteering in the kitchen and with the food and stuff like that. But there was some lovely people there, and I saw at Epic that the people came together and they were caring, putting other people first, being responsible from what I saw. And, we didn't have huge control.
Yeah.
And it makes you think maybe one day the world probably needs to consider simplifying things and going back into a place where there are less laws and less things and more common sense. And things that, because I'm pretty sure there's a law for everything that means you could probably be in jail forever.
Oh, if there's not, they'll make it up.
Yeah,
they just make it up as they go along.
And like, you almost wonder if we'd be better off with more smaller, broken down councils rather than all of a sudden we're doing huge areas with one corporation, effectively. Yeah, so
that's where the People's Council comes into play, folks.
But that was where I saw all these people coming together, and I thought, I'm not alone, and there's so many people that this is how I was brought up.
No, mate, we got your back, haven't we, folks? Paul, thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it, and keep in touch. We'll talk in the next week or so and see what we can do to help. So really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the owner of the Freedom Truck, Mr. Mayor. Oh, well, you can say shit if you like, but, just hiding the beer. I think he spilled the bit of the beer. That's where the shit came from. So there is a lot of good things happening. We're going to get into quite a few of the good things happening too. Is Maz over there ready to play? we might have a little musical interlude if there is half a chance. All right, Maz, tune up, honey. I'm going to give you this big intro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the, well, not quite Friday Free for All, more like a Your Place at My Place introduction, will you please put your hands together for our second musical act of the night? This is Maz with her own composition called Floating and Flying. Round of applause.
Okay, guys, I wrote this song during the lockdowns. I learnt a bit of piano. I only knew 5 songs before the lockdowns, and I went through quite a bit of mental health even before the lockdowns, and I found playing the piano was really quite therapeutic and really got me through. So these are the lyrics to the song that I wrote during lockdown. It's kind of inspired by Glory Box, Portishead. We've got the chords in the background, so here we go. Wish me luck. Thanks. All right, here we go. I forgot the beat. Hang on, here we go. Hello, it's me again. Time to get out. Ah! I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. It did happen.
Hey, Maz, have you ever watched my show? Because
No.
the audio in my show, this is just par for the course. Don't sweat it.
I'm still a bit of an amateur at this, so give me a sec.
No, that's all right. You count yourself in. We can sit here and amuse ourselves. I've been doing it for years.
Okay, thank you.
When you're ready.
Here we go. Hello, it's me again. I'm so sorry, take 3, guys. I'm going to do it without the beat because it's really stuffing me up. So. All right, here we go. One more time. You did too.
Don't worry, 3 is a good number.
Hello, it's me again. Time to get on with the show. I've been hiding away, feeling really low. Come a little closer and listen to me. Open up your eyes now and tell me, what do you see? Do you see all the pain I've been through? Time to break the chain now, and it's time to start anew. Floating and flying up towards the sky. Floating and flying up high. Floating and flying up towards the sky. Floating and flying in this life. So now it's time for me to switch the view on the picture. No more hiding away. It's time to let it go. Now I won't be silenced by no one. Gotta live my life now and have fun until it's done. Floating and flying up towards the sky. Floating and flying up high.
change direction, finding your way. Sometimes we don't know what to do or feel or say. In and out of focus, floating in and out of my own head space. Can you recollect, can you feel the effects of times gone by? Learn from all those lessons on this journey we call life. In this life, floating and flying up towards the sky, floating and flying up high, floating and flying up towards the sky, floating and flying in this life.
I gotta say, third time's the charm, isn't it? The Galactic Larrikins know that too, just between you and the gatepost. But Maz, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. I really like that groove. That's just, yeah, very cool indeed. Another round of applause for Maz, ladies and gentlemen. Another bit of the local talent available right here in Frankston and further afield through Melbourne. So there's a lot of things happening at the moment, folks. There's a big rally. Well, we're not calling it a rally anymore. We're calling it a gathering, a reformation of the weapon, whatever you'd like to call it. But tomorrow at Parliament House, the Aussie Cossack and Guru, Dave Graham, have, initiated a march for neutrality in Sydney that has grown legs and is now springing up in different places all over the country, Melbourne being one of those. So tomorrow, if you're not doing anything, 12 o'clock Parliament Steps, that will be the place to be for the March for Neutrality. It's not so much a march to support Russia or not support Ukraine. It is a march to keep Australia out of a fight it has no business being in. We have already sent them $1 billion in weapons and weapon aid. We've sent them $34 million in humanitarian aid. What sort of bastards are running this country that they would send $1 billion worth of weapons and $34 million worth of Band-Aids? Arseholes, I heard someone say. Absolutely right. We need to be rid of these arseholes. So if it's something you support for Australia to stay out, completely out of what's going on in Ukraine with Russia at the moment, then see you at the steps of Parliament tomorrow from 12 o'clock. It is happening in Sydney at 12 o'clock. It is happening in Brisbane, I want to say at 2 p.m. I think there is also events happening in Canberra. I think I heard one in Adelaide, a few other places. So if you are at all interested, you can get a hold of Cossack or on his webpage at YouTube, or you can have a look for Dave Guru Graham as well. They will have all the details on Stop the Rot, Sack the Lot. And for the rest of the country, I haven't got them right here in front of me, but I know tomorrow, 12 o'clock in Melbourne, because that's where I got to be, Parliament Steps. So if you're going to be part of this, we'll see you there, 12 o'clock tomorrow. Melbourne is a great place to get together and reform the weapon. And there is a very, 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 very big thing coming up on the 11th of the 11th. And Mr. Mayor is right behind it. Now, this is another one of your initiated events, let's call it, shall we? You're looking for 1 million people to join you at the Shrine on the 11th of the 11th at 11:11.
That's correct, Carl. Yes, partnership with a member of my place that was here from the very first night we started. It was his kind of idea, and I'm just running with it basically, and said, "Yep, let's make it happen." And this building at the King's Domain in Melbourne is the most significant building this country has, more significant than the Parliament House or any other building. And our freedom lies within that building. And this year, we've got to make this day on the 11th of the 11th the biggest one this country's ever seen. And we need to flood the city with 1 million people. And if we can do that, then I think that's going to go a long way to making a statement that we are united as a people, and we're here to claim the freedom that lies within that building and our foundation stone. So it's really important that we get everybody. It's a Friday. It's 4 weeks from today, and it's going to be a long weekend for everybody. Where traditionally Australians will always be sick on a Friday or a Monday. Not that I'm encouraging that, because I used to be an employer, but for this time, this is significant, and in the times we're in at the moment, and the attack that humanity and Australian people are under, this has to be a priority for everybody.
Now, Darren, you've told me that there is a history to the shrine that we are mostly unaware of, and in the not too distant future there's going to be a PowerPoint or a presentation that will explain that to us. We're not going to get into it tonight because neither of us actually fully understand it yet. We haven't seen the PowerPoint, but I'm very interested. There is a foundation stone laid in the shrine, folks, and that foundation stone is extremely significant. Stay tuned to find out why, I think is probably the best thing there. Now, Darren, I had a phone call today from people in Queensland who want to come down for the million-person gathering. They've asked whether or not there'll be beers at my place afterwards.
That'll be a yes.
So we're going to start early that morning. I'll be back from Tasmania, and we'll have finished the job in Shepparton. We're coming up to Shepparton on the 9th of November, folks. 9th, 8th, I beg your pardon, 8th of November, and then we'll head back down here and be at the shrine for the 11th. I'm really looking forward to being part of that. It's going to be a massive event. Who's coming to the shrine on the 11th? There you go. That's almost a unanimous hands up there. So, well, we've got another 150 to add to it. 3 weeks. I was going to say 4 weeks. Seems a long way before I go home. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, not 4. So see you at the shrine Friday, the 11th of November. We're going to get there at dawn or earlier, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll be there before the sun comes up.
Yep. So come and join us, folks. I don't know. I've got a little fire in the back of the car that we use on the side of the road. I reckon I can probably cook a few hamburgers. Something a little warm in the morning, bit of bacon, a few eggs. It's only a little hot plate. You'll have to wait in line for a while, but we will organise something, and it'd be wonderful to have you there. Spend the day after the service. Of course, we all adjourn back down here. That's the way I'm looking at it.
That sounds good to me. Let's create some history for this country. I think anyone that was at Epic and up in Canberra on the 5th and the 12th of February this year, the footage the real footage when it comes out from the top of Parliament House is going to be something that's going to be looked back on for hundreds of years of just how many people were involved in freeing this country. This is going to be another day just like that. It's going to be an epic day, and it's going to be a history-making day for this country. So it's not one that you want to miss out on.
Yep, I encourage everybody to get down here if you possibly can. If you're in Queensland, New South Wales, Western Australia, it's a long way to come, but if you want to come, we would love to have you. Same for the Northern Territory. South Australia, it's not far for you. Well, not far compared to the miles I'm driving, so you should be able to come over to here and be part of this. It shouldn't be hard for us to get 1 million people on the streets for this, folks, and it is vitally important, vitally important. So we look forward to seeing you on the 11th of the 11th at the Shrine in Melbourne. It's on St Kilda Road. It's really hard to miss. You may have seen it in the pictures a few months ago, people getting shot in front of it with rubber bullets. It's that place. Darren, you've got a whole heap of paperwork laid out here in front of me. We're going to talk about the People's Council a bit further, but you've got obviously a little something.
Just got a couple of things here. We're going to draw the raffle shortly as well. So anyone that still wants to get a raffle ticket, grab it now because it's going to be drawn in the next 10 minutes. We've also got quite a few pizzas coming for anyone that's hungry. There's some vegetarian and some gluten-free ones as well.
How much did you pay for gluten before it was free?
No idea. It's just one of those dietary requirements that I don't get.
I've got a mate. Well, he used to be a mate who's a comedian, and he reckons that the people who have gluten issues from children, it's a bit like young kids who say, "Oh, I don't like that." You give them a green apple and a good root, and they wouldn't know what to do. But there you go. That's an old joke from Rob Brown. I give the credit where it's due. And if you ever want to see one of the best comedians in Australia, go for Rod Brown. You won't see him on television because he's too bloody funny. So the Frankston People's Council is moving, shaking, and doing things in the community. How are you growing it? What do people do? They come to a council meeting. They don't come to a council meeting. They just wave at you as you drive past, drop beer at your door. How does it work?
Yeah, like the old Garbos.
Yeah.
No, not at the moment. We're really still in the infant stages of setting up this council, and like I said before, it is at the moment a bit of an ideology and a movement. So anyone can join. We're not going to be picking up bins or doing anything like that. It is purely a statement of fact of who we are as a people.
But you're also keeping an eye on the corporate council.
Yeah, 100%, and
Yeah.
that is part of the which it was a My Place action group, but I guess that all of the groups that we set up at My Place originally have now come under the umbrella of the People's Council, and all the services are on the People's Council. So the action group, we do go to every council meeting. We've got another one coming up this Monday, and we've got a crew working on getting some questions that we can ask and hopefully speak at the meeting on Monday.
Didn't we hear today that the agenda is 320 pages long or something?
Correct. So I'm glad I'm not on the research team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot. They just baffle you with bullshit, which is pretty much all bureaucracies, and they make it so hard and confusing that people just aren't interested. And that's one of the things that we're going to be doing when we get back control of our country is to get rid of all the red tape and all the bureaucracy, and just simplify things and make things easy for people. But so the council is look, we do have membership application forms inside. We've got over 200 members now, and the first 1,000 is $10 for a lifetime membership. It's a token amount because a paid up member is carries far more weight than a subscriber, and we need to get 5,000, even 10,000 members as quick as we can, and then we're going to have some real power. But even without that, and just the people galvanising together and being there all the time, scrutinising, talking to them, and being in their face, and just them knowing that we're all over them and we're scrutinising and watching what they're doing, and we're not going to accept anything that isn't good for the community, is playing on their minds, and they're worried about it. And every council in this country, we should have people there watching what they're doing and calling them out every time.
I've been lucky enough to be close to you for the last week or so, and I've seen the way that people react to you. They come to you not necessarily with a problem. They come to you with maybe an offer of help, but they've got a problem. They've got an issue. You seem to be able to find those issues and work straight to the heart of them. And you have a group of people around you here who are dedicated to helping. That is the most amazing thing about this My Place. And I'm sure that a My Place at your place can do exactly the same thing, because we are part of the community. Do you think that it is the community, they're just switched on, they think you're a great guy, or what is it, the motivating factor that people are following you for?
Obviously, they just think I'm a great guy.
And a good beer drinker.
No, look, just I think it's because I don't skirt around the issues. I don't talk bullshit. I cut to the chase. I have it's just in my nature. I just seem to, and I've done it since I was a kid. I've done everything my own way, and I see a problem and I work it out really quick, unless it's a Rubik's Cube. I was fucked on that. And I sort it out really quick, and I come up with a solution to solve the problem. And if I haven't got the skills to do it, I've surrounded myself with a group of people in this place that I don't even know how to explain them. It brings a tear to my eye just how important and how good these people are that do everything behind the scenes. And this place would be nothing if it would still be an empty shell. So I'm only a facilitator. I'm a problem solver, and I have the people around me that can help me in my vision. They see my vision. They see the way I work. They see my solutions. They see that they have merit, and they can understand how the problems can be solved. and they get behind me with just about everything, and they make it happen, and it's brilliant.
Well, it really is only four walls and a roof without the people, isn't it? So my place is a success because of the people, not just you. You've just opened the door. My place is success because of you folks, because you are benefiting from it. And you must see a benefit. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep turning up. So as long as we can grow this in the community, and are you talking about this when you go home? Are you talking about my place to the folks around you? You might know a farmer who's got an orchard, maybe can sell some oranges or some apples to the group, because eventually we want to feed everybody too. We can't count on the big corporates to keep feeding us, at least nothing we really want to eat and nothing that's good for us. So we're going to need to have to start focusing again on creating our own. And my place is the ground roots beginning for that, folks. I can't stress that enough. And I'm a dead set 100% supporter after seeing just how successful it has been here in the inaugural, the historical first My Place Frankston. And you all need to give yourselves a round of applause because and it's very hard with one hand holding pizza. I'm very sorry. So there you go. I should have got that out before the pizza came rolling out.
No, and part of that success and part of the growth of what's happening around the state, especially at the moment, is solely on your shoulders, Carl, because without your support and getting me on your show and letting me spruik what we're trying to achieve here and all the projects I'm working on, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are at the moment. So I thank you for giving us the opportunity to promote what we have here and share it with the rest of the country. And you can do it online via my iPad that's normally on an esky and a something, so I can get it up high enough. But to actually have you in the house and get to feel what it is, and then you can actually explain to people then just how special it is. And you can't do that over a Zoom call.
No.
So actually, having you here has been amazing, and it's a big part of why my place is going to continue to grow around the country in the next 6 weeks and beyond. Is
Absolutely.
Because of you.
Should also, Darren, thank you. You're far too generous. Thank you. I should point out, folks, that Darren is running for the seat of Frankston in the upcoming Victorian election. And if you would like to come and meet Darren, maybe help support him, there is a campaign night happening on the 5th of November at 6:30. Grazing and dessert table will be available. There will be a live DJ. He may or may not need 3 goes before you hear anything he plays. We'll just wait and see how that works.
He is a professional.
Yeah, good. That's why you bought the beer tonight, not me. Details, you can get them on the My Place Facebook page to head along to this campaign night for Darren, 5th of November, 6:30 p.m. Grazing and dessert table. And I gather the venue will be right here at My Place. So look forward to, I won't be seeing you then. I'll still be in Tassie. But if you can come along and help support Darren. And, of course, there is only one vote for the seat of Frankston, isn't there, folks? One vote. Vote 1 Bergwerf. Independent. That's what we need. Independent. Parties are illegal, folks. Parties are illegal. Can't say that enough. All right. We've gone, about an hour and a half so far. We need to get into our final musical act for the evening. If you've just joined us, it's wonderful to have you. Tonight, we are showcasing what My Place at Your Place could be like. If you've got some local talent, they've sung and can write or have written and can sing their own original music, then we would love to have you as part of My Place at Your Place. You just need to have a Your Place for me to come to, and we'll do it. So if you want to get a My Place going, Darren's the man, the Facebook page, or myplacefrankston.com. That is the website to go and check it out. All right, our last musical act, we'll have one song to wind us up for tonight. Will you put your hands together again, ladies and gentlemen, for Melinda and Billy as they take us out tonight.
What?
Thank you for the opportunity to have this space, your place, my place, our place. It's great.
That's cool.
It's fucking awesome.
That's cool.
And what you're doing here is amazing.
Thank
what
you.
you're doing for the community is
It's
incredible.
special.
Yes, it really. Yeah, I've got friends out in Geelong and stuff. I'm trying to get them for that new group, but I love how you're building communities outside of Frankston too.
Yeah, well, it's the model that's going to work around the country.
Yeah, and not only the but like to do this for the musos and stuff. This is incredible. Like, I love everything you're talking about, everything you're representing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that.
That's what it is. It's been that from the start.
I know.
Micro business,
I
fuck the
know.
corporations.
And you know what?
Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Billy. That's just great. That's what local original talent's like. Love local original talent. Doesn't matter if you're a rock band, doesn't matter if you're a juggler, if you're a comedian, whatever you do, we're keen to let you display your talent and entertain the people that come to be a part of my place. You can start with your own audience right here and grow it. That's basically what we all do. So if you are an original artist and we're coming to a town near you, then make sure you get a hold of us because we'd love to see you at one of our events and give you the opportunity to throw. The raffle. And we love to give you the opportunity to expose your talent to the Voice of Freedom audience, as large or small as it happens to be. So we can't throw off, well, I suppose we can because nobody online's actually got a raffle ticket unless you've been selling them in some special way.
No, I'm not sure.
No, he's got a whole team out there doing it.
Carl's going to draw
Here
the
we
raffle.
go. Drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. What is the prize? Can we ask what the prize is? Is there a prize? You get going home with Ian tonight for fish and chips down at the boat ramp, or a veggie box, or 2 bottles of red wine?
Okay, so Susan Harrell. Susan.
That's you. Yay! Congratulations. That'll be the veggie box. Veggie box. Beautiful. That's great. Congratulations, Susan. And the bottles of wine
is a green ticket, A50.
Gail didn't get it. There'll be no wine in the scones this week, will there?
Gail will still be whining.
Oh, we got one? We have a winner. Congratulations. Well done, mate.
How old are you?
Hey.
It's all right. Dad's here. Dad's here.
That's all right. Dad's behind him. Good on you. You don't want to educate him on red wine too early. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go online because we're going to have a bit of pizza and a bit of a chat here and a bit of a get together because this is a community and you can have a community just like this in your town too. We would love to help that happen for you. My place is not hard to set up. It does need a little bit of infrastructure, but it is not hard to set up, and you will find a ton of people in your community to get behind you and support you doing it. All you need to be is Darren Bergwerf. Or just like him. And we'll help, won't we? You're happy to advise and help and
I talk to people all day long, and there's a group in Melton that already have a group that are about to start as well. So yeah, I'm on constant calls with people on how to do it, Zoom calls, on just the importance of it and what it means and why the My Place kind of model attracts so many people once they see that there's one close to them. And because they've been following what we've been doing in Frankston for 12 months and what this has grown into, and the help of Carl and the platform we've got to spread the message of what it is. And so many people have been here from all over Victoria, especially to actually feel what it is to be part of this community. So it covers so many different things that all these separate groups just don't cover.
yeah.
And you can have all those separate groups within a My Place. There's no issue, but we need to get everybody in all the groups under the one banner and start working cohesively and put the egos away. It's the biggest thing that's held this movement back. And I'm not talking about just the last 2 years, but even all the way back to these guys that have been working on this for 20 or 30 years.
Yep.
They've always broken down because of egos. And if people can just put that away and start to accept other people for who they are and the skills that they've got, and not think that they've got the only answer, then that's how you create a My Place.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we bring all of those people and all of those groups in under the one umbrella.
Yep. There's no place for ego in what we are doing, folks. No place for ego. If it's about you, you're in the wrong game. And we will find you. We will point you out. So it's about community. It's about growing our spirit, because our spirit has been broken. Our spirit has been kicked. We've been abused. We've been lied to. We've been told we are mentally deficient. And we're still here. And none of us are coughing, spluttering, or having to go to the doctor wondering what's wrong with us. Who knew? We must be the only people not complaining about the jab. So, folks, it's a community. You have to be part of the community if you want to benefit from the community. So, if your community isn't one you feel you can be part of, create one. Don't wait for someone else to do it. You create one. It's not hard. Yes, there's a little bit of infrastructure. But once you open that door, you will find you are flooded with people who think just like you do, who want to help just like you do. So make that step, and hopefully we'll have a My Place nationwide competition, maybe a nationwide golf day occasionally. Something equally as good. We're not going to have a national beer drinking contest, I'm just going to say. I've seen him drink. So we won't be doing that. But we will grow a community. We will go strengthen that community, and we will help each other. And from that, only great things can come. Do you agree? Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I want to say thank you to you who've turned up here tonight, and I especially want to thank everybody in Melbourne who I've met since I've been here about a week ago now. Your support for the Voice of Freedom is overwhelming. I had no idea of how you folks felt about me. Jesus, the way I'm suppressed on YouTube, I didn't even know you were watching. But I am amazed at the outpouring of feeling, of love that I've received since we come to Victoria. I can't thank you enough. I am so sorry for what you've suffered through. I wish there was more than I could do than just apologise. We didn't go through it as hard as you. Nobody went through it as hard as you. But no, we have your back, folks. If you want me to come to your town, your city, your state, I'm here for you. You just tell us where and when, we'll figure out a way of getting there. Thank you, folks, for the love, the support, the generosity that you've shown us. The Voice of Freedom remains on the road because of you. Thank you very much.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's rock!